Okay, from now on, your voice is not going to be heard so much, but mine is. So, um, what is the thing that we need to know? We need to understand which are the relationships that are in with the different compounds that are involved in a chemical reaction. So the first thing that we need to do is to write a chemical reaction. Like, for example, hydrogen plus oxygen, that gives me what? H2O, water. Okay? So the first step we said is balancing the chemical reaction before doing anything. Okay? So in this case, which is going to be the coefficients that we need to do, or we need to put? 2 here, 2 here, here, nothing, here, 2 here. What does this mean? That for each mole of oxygen, we need 2 moles of hydrogen to obtain 2 moles of water. We also can say that 2 molecules of hydrogen are going to react with 1 mole of oxygen to give me 2 moles of water. Or I can calculate the mass of all these groups, the mass of this group, and this addition of this one should be the same mass as we have here. So we are going to do that kind of in a table. Okay, so I'm going to put my lines to separate so you understand more or less. This is not very neat, but you're going to understand what I mean. Okay, so first, if I calculate the molecules, let's pretend that I'm taking the ratio between the molecules. How many molecules are represented here? 2, exactly. 2 molecules of hydrogen react with how many of oxygen? 1, exactly. 1 molecule of, in this case, hydrogen. Let's put it just in case, and oxygen here. To give me how many of water? 2 molecules of water. I also can make the relationship between the moles, because if instead of getting only 1 molecule, I take a dozen of molecules. Let's pretend that I have 12 molecules here, a dozen. Okay? How many dozens of hydrogen do I need? 2 times. So the same relationship that I can do with dozens, I can do with moles. So speaking about moles of molecules, this is molecules, and these are moles. 2 moles of this one, of the hydrogen, are going to react with 1 mole of oxygen to give me 2 moles of water. Now, last class, we learned how to calculate the moles of any compound, yes? How do we do? If I need to calculate a mole of molecules of water, how do I do? In other words, if I need to calculate the molecular mass, no.
Teachers and students, please find interruption.
So, again, we need to calculate the molar mass of these compounds here. Hydrogen, the compound hydrogen, the molecule of hydrogen, the molecule of oxygen, and the molecule of water. So which is the molar mass? The mass of 1 mole. We said that is the same as the mass that we can obtain adding the masses in the periodic table expressed in grams, yes? So for the hydrogen, which is the mass of hydrogen in the periodic table? 1. So the molecule is, for hydrogen, we have the mass is 1 times 2 times the hydrogen, because the molecule has 2 elements or 2 atoms. It's going to be 2, meaning that 2 grams is going to be the molar mass, the mass of 1 mole. How many moles do I have in the table? 2. So instead of 2 grams, I'm going to have how many? 4 grams of hydrogen. Okay? How many grams I'm going to have of oxygen? I'm not going to do this again, but we know that we have 2 oxygens. How much is the mass of oxygen in the periodic table? 16. So the mass of 1 mole of atoms is going to be 16 grams, but we have 2 atoms in each molecule, so it's going to be 32 grams. Do you understand? Now, with water, what do? We said the water has 2 times hydrogen, so it's 2 grams, and 1 time oxygen, so it's 16 grams. So the molar mass of water is going to be 18 grams. Yes? How many moles of water we have? 2. So it's going to be, instead of 18, 36 grams. Do you understand? Now look at this. 4 plus 32 equals 36. The law of conservation of mass is correct in this case. We have the grams calculated correctly. Okay? Now, once we have this, we can begin doing the exercises. Okay? Not before. So, what we are going to do always is to first take this formula and balance the equation, and then calculate the mass that is involved in that chemical equation. Okay? And you have to take into consideration the coefficients. Okay? Don't forget to multiply the masses by the coefficients. So once we have that information, we can begin doing the problem. Okay?